Hello?
We can hear you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
We should be able to get started here in a minute. I'll give a couple more minutes for people to sign in.
Unmute. Okay.
Okay, does everybody see the agenda?
Yes.
Yep.
Let's give about 4 more minutes.
Oh,
You'll probably want that.
yeah.
Ray, the agenda is on, should be on the screen somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh, I
keep-
don't see it on your screen. No, I have
I
it
don't
printed.
see it on the
like you.
screen.
All right, hold on a second.
No, I don't see the agenda either.
I'll just tell
Well, hello, gorgeous.
you. Screen. Oh, okay.
I keep seeing a telephone icon.
You see it now?
Yes.
Yes.
Inside. All right. I don't see anybody waiting in the,
Oh, there it is. Okay. There it is. I see it. I see it.
Great. Okay, who's on the phone?
I am Lori.
Okay. I show you. Okay, I see somebody else on the phone as well. Number ends in 6209.
That's me.
Okay.
All right, Ray, it's Chris. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
By yourself today?
I am. Yeah, he blew me off. You know, two dates with him, and he's had enough.
Yeah.
He thought the third one might have been, yeah,
Trying for that charm.
might have been too much.
All right. So let's go ahead and get the meeting started. We have myself, it's 1. Jeanette Kilday is 2. Jason is 3. 4 for Matt. 5 for Michael Lee. And that's all that I have as board members online. Is there anybody I didn't mention? All right, so call the meeting of the special meeting of Canterbury Board of Finance to order. It's 7:05. First item on the agenda is salary quorum done. Approval of minutes, we have none to approve. They're all on the website. Written correspondence, we have none. Reports, we have none. Old business. Discuss any changes to the budgetary figures since last meeting. If we could ask the education department to start first, if they're ready.
Ray, can you put up the revenue sheet?
Oh, sure. That revenue sheet.
That one.
Go on. Come on.
Well, let me unbury it here. Revenue. All right. Revenue. Okay. Nancy or Michelle, are you ready to go, or?
Oh, I meant the front page where we put their numbers in, Ray.
Okay.
That one. I'm sorry, expense sheet.
All right, I don't know if we have the education folks ready to go yet. So we'll go ahead and go to the next one on the agenda. If the board agrees, we won't skip them. We'll just go to them next when they're ready. Okay, Chris, do you have any changes since last meeting?
Yeah, well, we were tasked with looking at the library numbers, and so the library came in last night to the selectmen's meeting with a new proposal for their numbers. And you all should have this. We updated the budget sheet, and Patty got it out, so everybody should have it in front of them. I hope.
I never got it.
Oh.
And I looked at 4 o'clock, I looked at the town website and there was nothing there.
Okay. Okay, check we got it out to Ray, and I think Patty uploaded it. But
Did see it.
the numbers as such, and looking at the numbers for the library, line 1150 was bumped up to 25,000. That had been cut to 3020, and that was bumped up to 25,000. The library director 1152 stayed the same. 1153 library support staff shows a reduction, and that's down to 70,669, which is a reduction of 9,667. And library grant stayed the same. That's in and out anyway. So the difference there was adjusting for not rehiring a vacant position and then moving some of that money up into the 1150 line, the library line.
So you went back up 22 on the library, line 1150, but you went down 9 on 1153.
That is correct. Yep.
Jeanette, I think we went down like almost full 15,000. We went from 85,000 down to 70. Jeanette, if you look at that 1153, the numbers I have here, the proposed was 106, and the what we were doing now is 70,669.
Okay, the budget figures we got from Chris said 82,345
Oh,
in that line. not
Right. That
80.
had already been adjusted down. So don't worry about the change in the numbers, the projected numbers. Just look at the bottom line. The bottom line is that line's going to be funded at 70,669.
Yes.
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you overall you went up.
These are the numbers the library came in with last night. We plugged them in. Yeah, I think I'm not quite sure. The conversation from the last meeting last week went along the lines of there's money that's going to be saved coming out of the salary line, which could then be put into the 1150 line, the library line. Yeah, so they made those changes and those adjustments. The Board of Selectmen accepted those. We plugged them in. The numbers are,
Okay, so Chris.
reasonable, and so that's where they stand.
Okay, so you went up $13,000 in the library. Overall.
Chris, what's the total budget?
The total budget for this budget is, the total budget is never on the page you're looking at. Okay, the total budget is $2,973,240,000. It's a decrease of $50,946 from last year. There's also, we made an adjustment to the Parks and Rec line, but we'll get to that one as well. We made a downward adjustment to that.
Is Park and Recs part of the town budget, or are you talking about CIP?
Now, this is actually part of their Park and Rec line. They have a line 1170, recreate.
Chris, that's part of the overall town budget, is it not?
Pardon?
That's part of your overall budget total, right?
That's part of the overall budget.
Right,
And
so
that had a request for funding of 16,000, and we had dropped that down to 10,000 because in part they do have that CIP money which they can tap into for some of their park and rec upkeep and maintenance work.
All right, so your new budget total is 2973240.
240, correct.
So you went up. To this point, are we just getting figures now, or can I make comment on the fact of what we just been given?
Well, we're getting the changes right now. We'll determine results projected. Where are we at? Well, hold on. Supplementary. Yeah, let's get all the data together from all the departments and we'll discuss them. Okay.
Sure.
All right. All right. So now I just saw Michelle D'Amico come in, I think. Oh, they're waiting. There we go. Well, we're waiting for them to get settled in. Chris, were there any changes on the CIP side?
No, actually, as I've been saying from day one, there's really no wiggle room in that. That is down to bare bones. We've got our lease payments and the roof payments, and that's the majority of the money that's in there.
Okay, so the total of 263,870 is correct?
That stays the same. 263,870, correct.
All right, Michelle's still waiting. Admit. All right, Michelle, you in? I see Nancy here too. Nancy, are you? Do you have any new numbers or?
Yeah, I'm here, but Michelle didn't give me the total budget. She only gave what we were going to add back in.
Add back in.
Well, you know,
No,
from the money we got back from the NFA when they
okay,
reduced.
yeah.
And then that money we need for the counseling.
I think it's on there.
But I don't have a total budget figure. Here, let me see.
Somebody is beeping.
I'm getting to my email. Hold on.
Mute everybody and let's go one by one.
Why, you don't like that song?
No, actually, I really like it, Ray. Could you?
Give me more, please.
Usually you can see. Like,
Might be out of Nancy's.
It said our total savings after the increases would be 19,479. But I don't have you have to take that away from our budget total there.
hold on, let me make sure it's not us.
Oh, sorry, my buzzer's going off. Hold on.
Ah, the culprit.
What is it?
It's Nancy.
It's me. My eggs are ready.
Ray, we had heard regular ed and special ed savings, I thought.
Yeah, there should be special ed savings as well.
I don't recall, so let's, I think Michelle's here now. Michelle, you online?
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah, I got kicked off. Jim was having a hard time getting in. So the only budget that we have had approved by the Board of Ed was with the $132,000 cut. So then we had talked about the last meeting about the NFA savings, but we don't have an actual budget updated with those because we had talked about the additional cost for the.
I'm sorry, I can't hear. There's some background noise.
Yeah, I can't help it.
Okay, that's you. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, it's me. We talked about the increases for the 4 students that we have registered at the STEM magnet school, which I emailed that to you late this afternoon, right? I think it's like 21,000. And then
let me Let me check my mail because it looks like, I checked it before the meeting. I didn't see anything come in, but looks like I'm delinquent here. Where did my mail go? Mail. Did you send it? Which account did you send it to?
I think I sent it to both, but I can pull my email up. Hang on.
All the above. All right, let me see.
It was both, Ray, the charter and the Gmail she sent it to.
Okay.
I had it open,
I should
sorry.
Be able to get, hey, there we go. Like I said before, this Zoom takes over the whole screen. All right, library, that's old. Focused, enable, all right. This is, I don't see anything here. Charter, oh boy. Michelle D'Amico. All right, so we have breakdown of costs for students registered to STEM that we didn't budget for. Each student cost district 5148. So 5148 times 4, and you've got the total of 20. So he's racing by here. All right. Additionally, mental health interventions would be needed when we opened up. Costs include 1,000 for screenings and 16. Hi, James.
Hi, sorry, I'm having all kinds of problems getting in. But the, what Michelle has is the two totals of the unexpected things that jumped up after we had subtracted the savings from NFA, both the special ed savings and the regular ed savings.
Okay, so you're adding 37,592. What was the savings from special ed and from?
It was 57 something.
Let me see what I have here. All right.
57071, the number that Michelle gave us last time.
57071.
Yeah.
That's correct. Yeah.
I guess it really. What do you guys have as your final budget now for education?
Well, what it would be is the, it would be minus the, well, what you put in was minus the 57,000.
Yes, that was the 11,799.50.
It would be minus the 130 some odd thousand.
130 some.
That was the,
ECS cuts.
that was the,
Oh yeah. That's long.
They already took that out, Jim.
Yep. So you're adding 37,592 back into the budget.
if we can, yeah.
Well. All right, so that makes 11,582, 529 plus 37,592, 2, so that gives me, unless my math is off, is 12. It's off.
What are the numbers you're doing, Ray?
11,799, 500
Yep.
plus 37,592.
Okay. So I have 11,837,092.
29073,811. I have 118,37092.
Yes.
That is this one. 118,37092.
Well, hold on a second, Ray. Their original budget was 11,989. Then we took the 130 out, which brought it to 11,856.
And then
Now,
the addition,
on top of that, they want to put some money back in of 37,552.
The number that was up here, the 11,799,500 was from last meeting. So that incorporated that additional savings.
Ray, can I just jump in for a sec? Excuse me. Rob just showed up at the office, so you can, if you want to add him in as present to the meeting.
Yeah, I think we had 5, right?
Yeah.
So that makes 6. All members
Yep.
are full. Sitting as full members. All
When
right,
they,
well, let's make sure this is right. What was the original number that you guys submitted, Michelle?
hang on one second, let me pull it up.
Okay. I'm hoping if we go over them enough times, they'll start going down.
they're not.
All right, so originally with the 3.51 increase, it was 11,989,560. That was the very first budget we presented.
Okay, and then we asked you to remove the ECS, the amount cut from ECS, which was, it wasn't 130 exactly, Karen.
Yeah, it was 132,989.
132,989. I wish I had a real calculator. I guess. Somewhere.
That brought us down to 11,856,571.
Then you take off the NFA savings, the 57,071. I think we're getting close to the number we had on the sheet from last week. Yeah, and that's 11,799,500.
And that's the number we had.
Yep.
And so we just added the 57, or excuse me, the 37,592. So this is the number, 11,837,092.
Yep.
All right. All right, let me ask this question. We had talked in past meetings about this CARES funding that's coming in, and that we thought we might have a number now.
Jim has that number. I think it's, okay.
The number is, it's 84,775.
Now, let me make sure that's not correct in this. This is money already spent that will be reimbursed from the federal government or state
This is,
government.
no, the CARES money is the money, the allotment that we will apply for. The State Department hasn't set out the applications yet. They told us our allotment is 84,775. And that's what we're actually budgeting for to, with like PPEs, extra Chromebooks, that sort of thing.
Right, so is there reimbursement for what we've spent this year?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this year we're getting reimbursement through FEMA.
And has that been settled or?
Well, no, Roy will be making the application on behalf of the town after June 30th. And the way I understand it is the reimbursement will come back to the town.
Right, but if we don't have it, what I'm trying to do is scrape up any loose change that we might have laying around.
This might. I mean, I would say this. Most of it was taken out of the CIP grant, but 75% of what we will come back to the town as revenue.
Right, but we don't know how much that amount is, nor how much of that they'll be.
Well, I would say, Michelle, Michelle, we have some figures now, and I'm convinced that whatever we put in, 75% of that will come back as general revenue to the town.
Yeah, and from what I understand is that there'll be three sources of funding. So one will be CARES, one will be FEMA, and one is through OPM at the state. So I don't know if the town had received a preliminary number. There was a sheet submitted to the state around May 1st with our cost. And I know the state had sent out, this is what your potential reimbursement could be. So it'd be three different levels of reimbursement for COVID-related expenses.
All right, Chris, are we at a point where we can count on any amount of funding from that as revenue?
This is money coming from the government. I don't count on it till it's here. We could be waiting a long time for it to show up. We're going to be low man on the totem pole, so I wouldn't count on it coming anytime soon. We're gonna file on the 30th. The process is going to go on. There's about 5 or 6 different programs that there's CREF, there's ESSER, there's the CARES Act, there's the Governor's Emergency Education Relief Fund. I mean, they have a whole host of different programs available, but I wouldn't count on it till it's actually in our hand. Yeah, they say 75% reimbursement of all eligible expenses, but when you start dealing with FEMA and getting into the nitty gritty with them, my eligible is not quite the same as theirs.
Chris, what's the number? Do you have a sense of the number that was submitted, total cost?
Not off the top of my head. I know our CREF, which is the OPM fund, which is being distributed, that's going to be somewhere in the range we're eligible up to, I want to say $53,000 or $58,000 on that.
Here somewhere.
I don't have the spreadsheet for our total expenditures so far. They've been fairly significant because we've been running extra ambulance shifts, which has probably been one of the biggest drains or biggest expenses that we've had. I don't have the.
Yeah, I have it here somewhere, Chris. I'm just looking through my files.
Right in hand. Yeah.
Michelle, on the big items, I know there's going to be no argument with FEMA. Those would be the Chromebooks. How much of that, of just the big items, not the, what are we looking at to get 75% of? Can you approximate?
Is that the numbers?
Yeah, I think I sent them to the town of what we had expected to spend, and I want to say it was, because the Chromebooks were over 20,000, right? Weren't they like 24,000? And then we had some payroll expenses that would be reimbursable due to the COVID closure. I don't have the spreadsheet with me today, so.
Do we have, what we could consider a ballpark figure on? I mean, it's not going to be enough to be a game.
What were the other physical expenses? You remember, Michelle? I know there were the Chromebooks was a big one in there. Do you remember what else?
I just remember the Chromebooks and some of the tech support for the Chromebooks.
Okay.
Were the largest ones.
All right, well.
And they were, that was about 20,000, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 20, that's hard, physical. They're going to reimburse us for that. I know they'll reimburse the town for that. There were some other expenses. Did we do some PPEs? Do we do anything with, for Kim? I don't remember.
For Kim?
That's our nurse. So we were getting.
What about lunches?
Well, I know this, that there's about 20,000 that they're not going to argue with that one, and we will get back that. The town will get that back because the town's the applicant, not us.
All right, so. We're still looking at about a 1.1 mil increase, or that's with taking the fund balance down to, make sure. I think it was taking fund balance down to 0 or to 10%.
I think that was not touching it at all.
Hold on, let me make sure. 157, P14. P14 is this minus K27. That. So that's taking this fund balance down to 0 or down to 10%.
The only other one I can think of, Ray, is, and it'll be unaudited, but Michelle, right now, I think we gave the Board of Finance an approximation on our financials for, what are we looking at, 25,000?
Yeah, about
Yeah.
25,000.
Yeah,
Yep.
we got that in there already.
Okay. Do you project as we do the final in June, it'll be around that number or anything larger?
I think we're going to come pretty close to that number.
Okay, so that 25 is pretty much a safe number at this point.
Yes.
Okay.
What's the town looking to return?
100.
Is Chris still good with that number?
Chris? Hello, Chris. Chris, are you there?
Yes, what was your question?
Are you still good with the 100,000, turn in 100,000 at the end of the year?
Yeah, I reluctantly, I could maybe bump that up, and it's making a decision on some financing that I'm gonna have to make on my own, but we conceivably could bump that up for this fiscal year by another 90,000. And I'm making a decision there on that on my own. It'll come back to bite me in the ass, but we could conceivably bump that up by another 90.
All right, let me look at these numbers and make sure they are what we had, whether or not they have the excess fund, unreserved fund balance in them. All right, so we have total revenue, total expenses, fund balance reduced. That's how much we would need. So that's that minus that. We need 535 to equal 0. This number is K14 minus, that's the money that we expect to be turned back in at 100 instead of 190. What number is that? P14? P14 divided by the mill rate is, so 1.1, you're right, Mike, 1.1 does not touch the 252, 261.
Now, I'm comfortable with 190 if you want to plug that in.
That change, I gotta do it right there. So that'd be 215. Yeah,
15,
right. Yeah, 215. So that puts you on the hook for 215,000, Chris.
That puts me on the hook for 190.
Well, I tried.
Yeah. Talk to Michelle and Nancy and Jim
we're
about
on the hook for
remainder.
the other 25.
Oh my God, the other 25 out of that big budget. That's all you can find. God, you guys got to work harder on that.
I should have come here earlier.
Here, here.
You should have.
All right, so we need 92,000.
That's if we brought the 252,000, we brought the unreserved down to 10%, we need additional 92.
Right. Otherwise, we need up 380 something.
Can we make comments on the budgets that have been
Yep, let's go.
presented?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, to the town one. Chris, you went back and you looked at the library and they came in and you consulted with them. Overall, what you did is you put $13,000, you increased it by 13,000 from what we had it left at. How come the 13,000 isn't coming out of the almost 29,000 they have in those two extra accounts?
That is a question that you can ask, and I see that they're on the library board members because they control that money, not the selectmen. But by all means, direct that question. You can direct that question to them.
But that money can be controlled in the sense that we now find out there's almost $29,000 in there, and by lowering their line items. Instead, we put 13 more back in.
Not
Yeah,
responding.
that is an action that can be taken.
Hey, hun. Oh, jeez. Going up.
So I just wanted to mention that we do use money from the savings account every year to supplement the town's appropriations. So we spend on average $10,000 from our special savings every year to supplement
So that would
we
leave,
get from the municipality. Sorry.
so if you save that $10,000 in there, which we now know you're going to do a different way through Lori, our town treasurer, that still leaves you with 18, yet you're still going up 13 in the line items. So why isn't that the remaining 18,000 used to offset that 13 that you're putting back in there?
Because on a yearly basis, we don't get $28,000. It carries over year after year. So that money
Right?
has been accumulating over years. If we spend it all this year, then we won't have anything for following years.
Then perhaps your budgets would be a little more accurate to what your expenditures are. It would still leave you with a 5 slush. I would like to see them come down on that line and use some of that money that's sitting there offline, which we are trying to eliminate having offline accounts that people can just use. It's library money, use it in the library. Especially
We are.
this year. Especially in this year to offset the costs instead of going up in your line items.
Well, the reasons that we're going up are to help people that are affected by COVID, because we need to buy some Wi-Fi hotspots, which we can get them free through the Connecticut Library Association, but we do have to pay a monthly fee for them to operate.
What's the monthly fee?
The monthly fee is, so if we get 5 of them, it's $1,300 for the year.
Where would these hotspots go?
So the hotspots you can actually lend out to patrons. So people will be able to bring them home if they don't have internet connection, and they'll be able to connect to internet for work or school.
That's $1,300. That's not the 28 that's sitting there. That's not the $28,000 that's sitting there. Actually, 28,769.51 that's sitting there.
We also have other necessary expenses that we rely on the town to pay for.
I take issue that you've gone up $13,000 in the line items that we had as of last meeting, and you still have that 28,000 plus sitting there.
Well, I mean, we have gone down from our initial proposal that we brought prior to.
That's because you had a person leave, and that was, you were saying that it was, actually you were saying you were going to have $15,000 in savings, and you're not, you're going up 13.
Well, our initial proposal was 29, and so we've come down from that, from the initial proposal before the original Board of Finance meeting.
28,020. I still take issue with that having happened. Another point that I'd like to make is that I take issue with the rec department. Chris, you're saying for their fields and taking care of the fields and maintenance and all, that they're still gonna have, instead of 16,000, they're gonna have 6. Is that correct?
Instead of 16, we reduced that to 10.
To 10.
And in part, I'd like to hold the rec department to task on this because they do have money in PRE. I will tell you, we're going to have some expenditures with rec in the near future with new soccer fields. They're going to probably eat up a lot of that. But I really got to sit there and I'm looking at this. And one of the things I'm going to have to take on myself, and I think Ray is also a member on the rec commission, is really to invigorate that.
I never got an invite to a meeting, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, they don't meet that often, and that's part of the thing I'm going to start doing is light a fire under their ass so that they can actually start meeting and start instead of. And I'd rather not fritter away that 54,000 on mowing. When you look at the big scheme of things with these budgets between municipal and education, it's all one pot of money, but it's really the smallest end of that pot or the smallest section of that slice of that pie.
Okay.
I'd rather see that 54,000 and working with them to try to put that money into some sort of programs or facilities and really make something, try to build something that'll be value added to the residents of Canterbury. And that's one of the things I'm going to undertake once we get through this budget is really to get them motivated on that. So I would from my own perspective, I would hate to see that money get spent on mowing fields when there's a lot better stuff we can do for it long term. And I know what you're saying, Jeanette, about every penny. We're taking 6,000 away from them. I hope it's a shot across the bow that they really need to step up to the plate and actually do something.
Okay, I'd like
to go on.
To interject here. According to the May 4th CIP accumulated totals, there's $69,000 in there. Plus they're getting another 15 this year. They're gonna have $84,000 in there. And they only came down 6. Why can't we drop another 10?
I would like, but rather than spend it out on mowing, I would really like to invigorate rec and actually start to look at doing something with that. We have a parcel of land that we have called Pinedale, which is a fantastic parcel that we can start to maybe repurpose and utilize for rec activities. I just hate to sit there and take away everything. I hate to sit there and take away everything. Some of it is about adding value to the town.
We're sitting here at the last meeting before we set a vote that we're going to count, that we're going to vote on to put in force. And we're going the wrong direction. It really doesn't matter what in the future we're going to do with some parcel of land when we can't get through this year.
Because even
so is the case that the library is unwilling to supplant any of the funding currently paid for the town with money that they already have in other accounts?
All right, Ray, can I speak, Mr. Chairman, can I speak? What happened was, I don't know, I did not hear what happened. My computer, something happened, I got thrown off, so thank you for letting me get back in, but I did not hear what the library said. The thing is, I know we're going with 25,000, but I just want to say that every year that they did an average, we add our own money from the special savings, about 11,000 for the past 5 years, on average, 11,000 gets added back. It gets for our operating costs, whatever supplies, books, whatever have you. But I know we're going with 25. I think there was a thing that I was talking with the director of maybe 20,000. But these are what we need. I don't know if did she go and show you what we needed, the different things?
Yeah, she told us there was $1,300 for 4 or 5 hotspots.
Okay,
hotspots. That's it.
Oh, that was it. You don't have all the other breakdown, Jeanette?
No, that's all she told us that they're looking to add. My point, Christine, the library issue, now that you're back, hon, is that you have told us that you have 28, let's call it 28.7 in the offline accounts right now. And you're actually going up $13,000 in with what you discussed with our first selectman. So that's going in the wrong direction, considering you have 28 sitting there. Even if you take that 13 out, you're still left with 15. And she told us that you're only spend on average an extra 10.
An extra 10 or 11 from that fund.
In there.
Yeah.
So I feel that 13 should be dropped back down again and use that 28. That's town money anyway. But the board doesn't seem willing to do that. The same point is being made to the rec department. If they're sitting with $84,000 as of next budget, with the PRE money, there's no reason that they can't drop an additional 10
Right,
and put it in.
Well, I think I mentioned last week, whatever, that if we use our 28, then we'll be down to nothing, because right now we're really not collecting too many fines, fees, whatever have you, is pay as you want to pay.
You
And
won't
it
be
depends
down
upon
28.
donations.
You won't use your 28. You're only taking 13 out of that 28. You're still left with that.
All right. So then what is, what did they want to give us for our costs? What was line item 1150 going to be? Did you decide?
She
It was
said
gonna
it
be-
was
Not
825.
yet. No, just
Oh, you
hold
haven't
on a
just-
second.
Okay.
All right, my point here is this. For one, there are, the last minute adding of hotspots is, I don't even think we should be considering it at this point. But on top of that, that is certainly a capital improvement expense that could be paid out of the hundred and some $1,000 sitting in the library capital
130.
improvement fund.
The big capital, Mr. Chairman, we found, like today, I've been doing a lot of research. I gotta tell you, last couple of weeks of researching the history of the library here, and I found a letter just today about PRE money, and it looks like we can use PRE money for copiers, printers, shelving, furniture. So maybe if we could do some stuff out of PRE, I think that would be wonderful,
That's precisely what I said at the last meeting.
Good. Well, and I found the letter was dated October 2012, October 15th. Yes, and it says that what our PRE explains exactly what it's for. So, yeah.
Another question, Mr. Sulich and Christine. At the last meeting, the library said they were going to return money to the school town this year. So what's that figure now?
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yes. Well, hopefully I'm correct. The savings was from the employee not being hired was a 14,437.80. Then from our other savings or return to the town with things we didn't buy, whatever, was like 9,430. And then that came to 23,867. That was it. Then if you want to know, our proposed budget at first was 29,182. We're going down to 25,000 now. That was an additional savings of 4,000. I wrote it right over here. 4,100 something. So in other words, we're basically giving back to the town. Well, it's about, let's say like 28,000, 28 something. If you add all those numbers up, the 15, the 9, and the 4 came to like 28,000.
So you're going to be returning as of July 1st, 28,000? Is that correct, Christine?
Not, well, the 9,430 is a straight return. The 14,437.80 is the savings that we're not going to have that person. And
So that's the next budget.
The
Yeah,
town's amount that they'll return to
Yeah.
the general fund is already accounted for.
is already
Number
covered.
is included in that.
That's in the
Okay.
190?
Yes.
Okay. And so, again, I feel that the library should be using that money that's sitting there. That's what it's for the operation of the library. It shouldn't have been there. We're going to get that fixed anyway. I feel that the rec department, Chris, the line item can come down to 0, and you can use that PRE money for maintaining our fields. And I agree with Mr. Sulich that there's no need to, in case something comes up in the future, we can do. Well, we do it when we have the money in the future.
Well, we've been asking them for participation for at least the last 2 years. So the future has become the past now. So if they want to use something, they have some planning they want to do, then they need to communicate it. Otherwise, we're not going to continue to pour money into funds where it sits and does nothing.
You couldn't actually bring that line down to 0, because if you were to say that mowing, if you said mowing you can use that out of CIP. The mowing is about 14,000 a year, maybe 13,000 a year. The rest of that is affordable portables and Willimantic Waste and Eversource. So that has to be funded. So you'd still have to fund that to the tune of about, call it $4,000 to be on the safe side, at the bare minimum.
They have additional lines other than, they have a CIP line and then they have an operating fund line. Plus, don't they have another one that's an in and out?
No, the line they have for rec, one of them is an in and out line.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that is we're talking about is 1170, and that's recreation, parks and grounds. The other one we have is 1171, but that's an in and out line. So the only one we
Whoever's cutting it on the zip code. Laura Demiskova.
Who's that?
That's just somebody crashing our thing.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Oh, that was better than the meeting. Go back to that. So they have one line. The one line in question is the 1170, and that's the recreation, parks and grounds, which was going to be funded at. They requested, their request for funding was 16,000. Of that, for this fiscal year, 13,200 has been used for mowing. So, and the rest of it's been EverSource, affordable portables, Willie Waste, and some of the other expenses they have.
Okay, so let me ask you this: have they been in contact with you regarding what their plans are for changes that they're going to make for COVID? I mean, they're as far as I understand, you're still not allowed to have more than a handful of folks together in one place.
No, Rex hasn't talked to me. The Little League has, but that's a different program altogether. It has nothing to do with recreation. But recreation has not got to me with any of their plans are. I think the biggest thing they've been running down there in recent years has been the sand volleyball or beach volleyball group. But my perspective, you'll do what you want. My perspective on that is I'd actually like to use this as an opportunity to really get rec motivated so that we can start looking at doing some programs and getting value added to the town. I mean, each year our municipal budget gets beat up, and it's harder to do anything.
Chris, and we're going to do what we need to do based on what nobody else is willing to do.
Yeah, I know
what do you expect us to do, Chris?
I understand that full well, but I brought my soapbox, so I figured I'd get on top of it.
Okay, so if we
like Jeanette, I'm sharing Jeanette's soapbox with her tonight. So
okay,
and I do have to advocate for my departments. That's an important part of this job. You can beat me up all you want.
Okay, so if we took another 6 out of the rec fields, which would bring them down to $4,000, which would cover their porta potties. Everything else comes out of CIP. Okay? You take an additional 6 from what you said, Chris, and you take another 13 out of the library and have them use that $28,000 that's sitting there. That's a savings of $19,000 out of your budget. And I appreciate that you come in low every time, but these are 2 specific spots. 2 specific.
Oh, I know, Jeanette. Rec has been something that's bugged you for a while. From my perspective, I'm going to say it again. I would actually like to use this opportunity to get them more focused and motivated, and start using that money to bring programs and to bring facilities into the town.
So what happened about over the last year? We brought this up last year and the year before. So why weren't they awakened or woke or whatever you want to say then?
I wish I had an answer for that. I think half the problem is for the past 4 months we've been dealing with the coronavirus. We put new members on the board, which I hope will make a difference. And once they start meeting again, I think some of the new members will make a difference on that board. And we'll see. And I'm going to have to take a more active role in dealing with Rex. And that's another night out of my life.
The point is that these are appointed folks to this board, and they're not even reaching out to their own members to have meetings.
Okay, so we have a dysfunctional rec board at this point in time, but back to the budget. They're still going to have $74,000 in there, Chris, that you can motivate the hell out of them with it.
I hope so. Maybe I should put you on the rec board.
I've been there, done that, built your field down at the river park. I was picking up rocks with my baby in a sling. That's why you have a pavilion. Thank you very much, Mrs. Kilday.
There you go. That's what we need. We need more of that action.
Yeah, you need a quorum to have a meeting along with somebody that can set the agenda.
So right there, Board of Finance, that's $19,000 more. And it's in those 2 specific lines. It's not hitting the functioning of the roads, the departments, the functioning of our town hall. It's the two specific spots that we find money is sitting there that can be accessed. Mike Lee, last time you brought up the point that we should use money that we have available to chew away at how much we have to find. Those are two spots we can find them.
Yeah, I mean, I would like the rec department to do more. It doesn't seem like they are. But if that money's sitting there and they could build, what was that property, Chris? Could improve that property and make some recreational opportunities for the town. I think that would be excellent. So I think the rec commission could use that money for some good, and I hope they do in the future.
What are your thoughts to the point of taking out their mowing, let them do the mowing out of the CIP?
I mean, they haven't offered to use the other money, so I'm ambivalent at this point. If next year they come with a plan, then I would like to I'd suggest we refund the operational costs so that they can put the capital to a capital project. But this year it does seem like there's no real focus for that.
But we can't refund any money to it. Gone is gone.
No. But if we cut it, if it's, and I forgive me, I don't have the sheet, but if we're cutting 6,000 out next year, if they come with a capital project, that we put the 6,000 operation back in, not to make up for this year, but to bring it back to the operational levels that are necessary if they're actually implementing capital.
But you could say that with every line item in CIP, that we shouldn't use anything out of it because maybe next year they'll come with something. Right now, it's going to have $84,000 as of our budget passing. They're going to have $84,000 in there. Why can't that be used to mow? Chris has already taken 6 out, and all we do is take another 6 out. They have the right to go to CIP. It's just where they write the bills from. That's all it is. And the money is
why don't we,
there.
let's look at it from, maybe we could look at it from this standpoint. If, an idea would be that we could utilize the unreserved fund balance down to 10% and require the town and the school to come up with an additional $93,000 in cuts.
And let them decide how they do it?
Yep, and we'll divide that 92 up the way we think it should be divided. Because I think we can already find, you've already found 19 on the town side. And what I'm trying to avoid here is to say, take it from here. I mean, we have given sufficient proof that there are areas that we believe that could be reduced. If they don't get reduced at this point, then the people that don't reduce them can take the blame.
I agree with that, Ray.
Is that a motion? I'll second it.
Let me make sure we're not a follow of the agenda. Return results projected fiscal year, we did that. Set preliminary budget totals for public discussion. So as a starting point, for the purpose of discussion, I would like to make a motion to.
Can you do your percentages based on the budgets put in, whether we're at 80-20 anymore?
Yeah, I can, but let's not, we can get more specific on that a little bit later if you don't mind.
Okay.
I'd like to put forth the numbers of $2,973,240 for a town budget, CIP 263,870, education $11,837 and or $837,092. To take $252,261 from fund balance and require an additional $92,747 in cuts. That would be the motion.
1 second, Ray, may I interject here?
Mm-hmm.
So we have 535 deficit that we have to come up with. You're taking 252 out of it? Yes?
This is the amount total right here, yes.
That we have to come up at 535?
535, we are spending 535 more than what we're taking in.
Okay, oh wait.
And then we're gonna subtract the 190,000 we think we're going to get back to the general fund at the end of the year.
All right, so we can
So
take
that
that
brings
out.
us to 345.
Ray, that should be plus the 25 from the school department.
Yeah, it's in there.
No,
It was 125.
and Chris said add another 90, so it'd be 190 plus 25, 215. I thought you had that in there a moment ago.
535,008 minus
Yep.
215,
Yeah,
210, right?
215.
190 and 25. Okay.
215. All right, so let me change this to 215.
It's 535,008 minus 190.
So that changes the amount I would ask the boards to cut, the town and the school to cut down to 67,746
And that's bringing our net fund balance 927 to zero.
to zero.
10%, but yeah.
Oh,
Zero.
yeah, which is,
Sure.
at first blush, when you say that, everybody's going to have an argument pro and con. Simply put, we brought it down purposely down to 60K and at 108, and I could give you 100 different numbers off the top of my head because it'd just be off the top of my head. Anyway, we brought that money down year after year after year. It's the people's money. They paid it in taxes. If it's excess, then we owe it. I think we owe them to pay down our taxes with it, up to the point where we feel uncomfortable. So anyway, so the motion would be, as I said, but with the adjustment of 67,747. So do I have a second?
Second. It's
All
Matthew.
right, second by Matt. All right, is there any? I'm sorry? I'm sorry, I heard somebody say something.
Can I make sure I have this motion correct?
All right, town government, 2973240.
Yeah,
Capital improvement, 263870.
yeah,
Education, 11837,092.
okay,
Fund balance, take 252,261 from the,
hold on, 25, that's right, I made a mistake. 252,
261
261 from fund balance.
from unreserved fund balance and ask for an additional 67,747 in cuts,
Okay.
which would allow us a 0 mill rate change. But anyway, so that's the motion that we're discussing.
Is this it where we need to figure out who needs to come up with what, percentage-wise?
Yes, yes.
I just would echo what I've said in the past, which is that the education budget's been worked on very hard. They're asking for what they need. The 67,000 is less than about the 160 or so that we were contemplating going below 10%. Was it last week? The 60,000 is taking us to whatever, like 95 or 9.5%. So I would support funding as the budgets stand without the cut.
Given my opinion on that, Mike, and everyone, is that it's not outrageous to ask that we adjust 67,000. We have asked for lots and lots and lots more in the past. We've just shown where 20 can come from. We just need to know our percentages. And I go back to the fact that they're hiring an entire 4th grade teacher for 2 kids, for 2 children.
Well, Jeanette, I'll push back.
You know what, Mike? I'm
push
not
back
gonna,
on that.
I'm not gonna do.
No,
I'm
no,
not
no,
gonna go back
it's
and
not
forth.
just for two
Let
students.
Jeanette finish her sentence
Mike,
and then you can speak.
Well,
Mike, please.
yes, that I would like to
You have
respond
it.
to that.
You
please.
have a different philosophical position on that than I do. So that is my position, and I'm entitled to have my position. If you want to know where money can be cut, I've shown places that money can be cut in that budget. And they're still being given their $20,000 and their 10 here, and they're going up 37. So they are now up $250,000. $250,000, folks, from last year. That's what the budget proposal is right now. So to find 40-some thousand dollars out of that $250,000 increase is not too much to ask. And Chris Lipke has expounded again and again and again that they need to keep that money for operating expense, especially since the governor put it to October 1st, that we don't have to pay our taxes to. Our town can't just shut down. We need that money in there. And to go below it for the sake of $67,000 is not acceptable to me. So philosophically, we differ, Mike, and you've made that clear.
Well, so the fourth grade teacher is not just for 2 students this year. It's for the students this year. It's for the students next year and the classes that are coming up that are large. So it's not just for 2 students. It's actually the Board of Education planning ahead and budgeting this because, and maybe someone over there can speak to this, but the classes are getting larger in the elementary school.
Hey, just my, my standpoint here is that we have gone to extraordinary lengths to stay above or at 10%. And if nothing more than symbolically, to not go below 10%, I think that's the way to go. In other words, to cut that extra 67. Okay, anyone else? Mike, Jason, Rob?
Anything to say, Rob? No, I have nothing to say.
Oh.
Jason? Nothing?
No, nothing.
Is that everybody? Did I miss anybody? No? All right, so the motion's on the floor. Let's do roll call. I vote yes on the motion. Jeanette?
Yes.
Mike?
No.
Jason?
No.
Matt?
Yes.
And Rob?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. All right, so that number, those numbers represent our working numbers as we move forward. Let me look at the agenda and see if we can work in the percentage piece. Discuss, we have later on in the meeting, discussion possible action on determination of budget figures being considered for adoption at this time. So we could certainly do that as part of that. So next on the agenda is public comments relating to the proposed budgets that the numbers that we just voted on. Let me see. Okay, here's the screen. Unfortunately, I can't get everybody on the screen, but any comments?
Okay, Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, Christine.
okay, yes, I have one. So what is right now with these, 67,000, or you want to cut that 67,747? What would be our portion of it, and what would our new line item 1150 be?
That would be up to you and the selectmen to figure out.
Oh, okay.
And we leave that to the departments to decide what they would cut. Well, we have not yet determined how we'll divide that up anyway.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, so that's
But
the
just-
town and the education, thank you.
Just out of left field, it's normally in the neighborhood of 70-ish to 30-ish%.
It's at 95.5, Ray. At 95.5, it's the new state mandate.
What's 95? You lost me.
At 95%, 5% town, 95% whoever else. That's what. 70-30. What do you? At 90-10, you might have me agree to that, but.
So you guys want to fund 90%?
No, we want to fund the 10%. Let's get this straight.
All right, come on, folks. We got time here. We like to hear your input.
Are you asking for the public?
I'm asking for anybody. My dog was over there talking a minute ago, but
I think we've done a tremendous job to get us to where we are. Really, really are. And when the school goes up $250,000 to find 40, 50, whatever it comes out to is not so much. I give kudos a lot to Chris. I do. I've showed you a couple places that you can easily find your money, so it won't be a stress or a burden on you. But there's money in those budgets that are sitting there, and we need to tap and use them at this point in time.
I think that's an excellent point, Jeanette, that the PRE money was like a gift from PRE, I guess.
Yeah.
So let's utilize it and not, I'm not just saying blow it on whatever, but use it for the good of the people that it's supposed to serve. On top of that, the education budget, I got off the Board of Ed because I really hated doing the budget. I hated doing the budget because each number reflects, there's a face that's reflected or reflects in their face. Then there's a lot of things of concern, especially this time around. I appreciate wholeheartedly the Board of Education's actions that they have taken so far with regard to the handling of funds, and they're looking into the high school makeup, all the rest. I appreciate that. Not to say that whatever way that works out, at least we'll have had the discussion. The town, they've done an excellent job, but unfortunately, there's from the town side, it's only a small percentage of the budget. That means that the smaller amount, even though it's a smaller amount, whatever we cut out of it hurts even more, because there's not that much, and it almost directly goes toward citizens. Not that education does it, but anyway. I think, you look at our town budget, you end up with a fire department, a library, and transfer station. I think that's pretty much the extent of what we get out of our tax money, quote unquote. Anyway.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, Karen?
I just want to, if there's any more reimbursements for the COVID from the school that would affect that could help alleviate next year's budget? Like for school lunches, are you guys going to be reimbursed for school lunches?
That's federal HUD, right?
Yeah, we do get reimbursed for the school lunches, but that money has to be strictly used for the school lunch program.
Yeah, we don't fund the lunch program.
Correct.
That's all funded,
Right.
Self-funded, except for one year, many years ago.
Yeah, and we did submit as part of our FEMA or estimations the extra hours, paying them if they're not actually there, as we were with all of our employees. So that was included as a reimbursement, and any extra time that they had put in, like over spring break, we submitted that as well.
Okay, one thing I would like to, for the sake of conversation, not just to fill the gap, but each department, I think, has made a good case for the things that they're doing that are related to COVID and things that they're planning to do. Should it be necessary, or should it just become necessary? Anyway, I'd really like to see those put to paper so that, it's great for us 20 whatever people to sit here and talk about it. What a guess, 20 people to sit and talk about it. But if we're the only ones that know it, then we're not doing ourselves or anyone else any good by doing it. So, and it's easy for us to forget, like, all the additional school lunches that are going out that normally wouldn't. That's an excellent point. There's a number of other ones. If folks want to send them to me, I can capture them, put them up on the, send them to Canterbury Budget if you wish, and I'll compile them and give them to Chris to do with as he determines is best. All right, so just so everybody knows, public participation, comments, suggestions.
There's a hand by Tom.
I had my hand raised.
Well, you're not just public, you're public and.
I gotta say, first of all, I agree with you, Ray. I hate this time of year. This is my least favorite part of being on the Board of Education. But I'm going to speak out again. Just saying, support the budget as it's written because we don't know what we're facing in September. And I hate to cut corners going in because we really don't know what's going to face us. So, and unfortunately, this is the year that the governor has taken away our constitutional right to vote. And we are kind of sit here as a group of 20 determining all these things. But I just want to, I appreciate the process. I think this has been a very good negotiations, but I do want to support the budget as it's written. Thank you.
Everybody vote to get our legislators back in the state capitol making laws. Sorry, that's soapbox. That's been what I love crawling on right now. All right, so with there no further comments
I say one thing more, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, one more thing. In my looking up the history, also I didn't realize that the library. I mean, the library does serve a good function in this town for people to come and everything. And also sometimes people use our Wi-Fi outside. When I was there the other day, they pull up and they're using our free Wi-Fi, which is good for them. That's good. But also, if we didn't have a library, nobody could get a card. I guess it's some law that says you have to get a card in the town that you live in, a library card. Then you can use other libraries in the state of Connecticut with your own town's library card. So that's why we really, I know you don't want to kill the library, but it's like, we are going to look into other finances and the special savings, and we do want to cooperate. But I'm happy to discover the PRE that you said last week. I actually have the statement, the paper here, and I really want us to use PRE for everything we possibly can. Absolutely. Okay. But
I think in the condition for the library and for rec, they're in a little bit of a different position with that PRE money in the CIP, whereas it, more or less is a convenient landing spot, I guess, is kind of a good way to put it. I think, and I wasn't involved in any of the discussions, nor have I seen what the exact wording of everything is, but I think the intent is that it be used for the benefit of the townspeople in those specific areas. So, normally I would be reluctant to kind of advance the thinking that we should spend CIP on little things, but as long as they're part of a bigger picture, I think. All right, so. All right. So we go ahead and close that discussion period. And I think it'd be best for us to, what I'd like to do is, we've already got a vote on the root numbers. So I think if it's okay with everyone else, we'll just leave that portion the way it was in terms of the amounts for each department, the 0 mill rate change, and discuss only the amount that we recommended be cut from the budget before it goes forward.
Ray,
You might be incorrect.
when you figure out who has to come up with what, when you do your calculations, I'm going to ask that we do not put the CIP additions into the calculation. Don't add the school CIP to the school budget to find a number and the town to find the number, because CIP is really something this year that we can't do anything about.
Oh yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, normally we, first resort is to cut CIP, which there's nothing really that can be cut.
Right.
But again, that we can't say.
Because the school is high because of what's in there. You would be adding another 193 as opposed to 69. I think we should leave CIP out of our percentage calculations.
Okay. All right. So is everybody okay with leaving all the big numbers the same and talking only about the proposed cut?
Yes.
And right now that proposed cut is $67,747. All right, so the floor is, let me do this. We'll make a motion to ask the departments to cut $67,747 from their budgets, and we'll talk about amending this motion for specifics. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. We have a motion. Jeanette seconded it. Floor is open for discussion. So you could say, don't cut it, or cut 80-20, whatever
When you do the calculations of approximately 3,000 for the town, approximately 12 for the school, it comes up to a 25-75 split. We're no longer at a 20-80.
Makes sense.
So we would be looking at that at a 50,810 and 25 cents and a 16,936 and 75.
So basically that'd be 51,000 from the school. 50 and 16,000 from,
No, that's not going to get you there.
You need
Seven-
747.
747. What?
If you do 25% of the 67,747, you come up with $16,936.75.
Right,
You want to round that fine.
right.
That's the
That's
town's
what I
portion.
said. 50,000 from the school at that number and 17,000 from the town.
You know what? The town's already been low. The town came in under budget. School came over. I'd rather you go 51 to the school and 16 to the town if you're not going to go actual numbers.
That's not
Well,
enough.
if the actual cut is 67,747, if we're going to lower it to 67,000, we're under 10%. I go back to my original point that causing what would I think cause chaos in the education department for 0.5% on the unreserved is just not worth it.
Well, we already have the motion that we're going to do it. So now we just have to.
No, the motion could be amended. We're talking, all we're talking about at this point is that number. Either it be higher, lower, or how it's divided.
I'd like to see us, we've always done it historically for decades, that when we had cuts that came down at the end,
Jason.
they would be divided equally between the proportions of the budgets that are there.
Okay, Mike, I think did you say all you needed to say?
Well, is it 25-75? Is that your math, Jeanette, for the percentage?
It is, because what I did is I took the 11,837,092 that the education budget is,
Gotcha.
you know, and then in the 2,973,240, and it comes approximately 25-75%. Unless I'm off, but I don't think I am.
Okay,
We used to be 80-20, and now we've actually become 75-25 now.
right. Well, that's if you add back in the CIP, we're probably right back where we were before.
But I think this year's CIP is a little extraordinary in the fact that it's been proven to us that there's really nothing that either one of them can touch out of that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, okay.
I'd like to just exclude that altogether because it's not a factor that they can dip into.
Jason?
I lost audio on most of it, so I'm sort of useless at the moment. Sorry.
All right. Matt?
I'm all set. I think, I think 67 is a lot better than it was. Do we have to set a percentage from each budget, or I guess we do have to, right? Because we have to give the final number for what they need to hit.
Which we give them the totals, and then which
Right,
would be,
then they have to.
the cumulative total would be 747 lower than what. So yeah, we need to tell them that. Otherwise, they won't know how much they need to cut or anything. Who's left? Rob Tuttle.
Rob, you got anything to say? No, not at this point.
All right. So I think if you want to make your, the only thing I heard could be a amendment would be Jeanette's suggestion of the 75-25. So will you make that in the form of an amendment, Jeanette?
I would like to amend the motion that the 67,747 that we need be divided equally, excuse me, not equally, but in the ratio of 75% to the school and 25% to the town. 75 school, 25 town. To round the numbers up, it would come out to 50,810 to the school, and the town comes up with 16,937.
16.
16937 would be towns, and
Okay,
then 5810 would be the school. That comes up to our 67,747 that we need.
okay, I'll second that motion. And again, just to make sure everybody knows where exactly we're at in the process, is that this would be the number we're going forward with to next week's meeting, which would be theoretically the final meeting that sets the mill rate and the bill dates.
So Ray, I assume if you plugged in that, if you took the 16,937 and subtracted it from the town, and then you took the 50,810, subtracted it from the school budget, that the 67,747 over in T whatever 17 goes down to 0. Is that what we expect to happen? That we would not be drawing below 10% in the unreserved.
You lost me. Can you repeat that?
I just want to make sure that our intent here matches what we're doing. So the 25% of the 67,747 is $16,937. You take that out of the town line, which is K8, and then you take the 75%, $50,000, $810. You take that out of the education K10, which should make all of the math sort of, assuming they're all relating to each other here, the 67,747 out in T, what is that, T17, would go to 0. It would cover the difference between what we need to pull out of fund balance above 10%, and we'd stay at 10%.
Yes.
So
the whole theory would be that with the 67,747, and then we'd have to subtract a total of 67 whatever from these totals. That we take the unreserved fund balance down to 10%. I think that's what you were asking.
Yeah, is there a way we can double check that? I mean, it's more or less like putting in, I don't know if you want to put in another box with the reduction amounts and then subtract those out of K8 and K10 and just make sure that it does to the numbers what we're intending to do with the numbers.
God, I hate to mess with this thing. Let me do this.
Or if you have a different way, I don't want to.
Let me do this.
Duplicate it or something.
Save a copy.
That'd be fine, yeah.
Before change. Or actually, it would be after change. All right, so now we're going to take 5810 from 11.
Well, from the town. Oh, I'm sorry, 5810. You're right. Sorry. Yep, from the education.
From 11,363,738. Keep my numbers lined up here. 78. So 82. 9, 2. 1, 3. Once on calculator, if I could find it. All right, clear. 11. All right, 11. 837. 837, 092 minus 50, 810. Yep, 11, 786. 11, 786, 282.
Yeah.
And we put that up here. I don't like that. Here we go. Why is it? Oh. All right, better. 11, 786, 282. 282. Yep. And then town is, let's see if I can do this, make it easier. For once. I'm not pasting it back though. We learned our lesson on that one. All right, 2,000,009, whatever, minus
16,937.
16,937. 2,956. Town. There we go. 2,956,303. What did that just do? All right, that took this down to this. We have this minus 215.
956,303.
So it looks like we're still 49K off.
Well, was it 67 and you lowered, theoretically, I thought you lowered 67. What is that?
67. What do you mean 67?
The 50,810 plus the 16,937. You reduced by 67,747. So I don't know what happened to the math there.
Oh, here, dude, let's do this. All right, so they're back to what they were. No, they're not. Ooh, getting worse. There we go. All right, so what's our total here? Let's just do it this way. Total expenditures. Total expenditures. Total expenditures. Mr. Calculator. All right, total expenditures 15,036. $610 minus 67.
747.
Should be 14,968. 863.
So then you got to take the 252, 261 out of there, and you got to take the other 215. Wouldn't you?
Yes. So that would change this number. 11 and 12. The difference now is, let's find out that number. I wish I had a regular calculator. Would make this a lot easier. Try to find this all the time. Oh. All right. So total revenues is 14.4. All right. So total expenses 14.8.
Yep.
It should be total expenses, 15,036. $610 minus total revenues, 14,501. 602 is 535,008. So that, now how did that?
It's the column to the side that's got the 215 put back.
I guess I used the wrong numbers. I subtracted these instead of what the corrected numbers are.
Oh, yeah.
All right, if we did this, all right, the total amount we need to subtract is 68,000, right? So let's just take it from 1 and see what happens, right? That's the easier way to do it. 284, 882, 828 minus 67, 747 would leave us to, I'm just playing with CIP's number here. Let me write this down so I don't mess this up. 860. I already screwed it up. All right, clear this. CIP is 263. 263,870 minus 67,747 equals 196, 123, and it was 263,870. So we'll change this down to 192. It's just 11 to the plus, which I think ends up happening because we're looking at percentages of percentages with collection rates, and it's 80% of, you know, so it doesn't end up dollar for dollar for whatever reason. I remember I was messing with this before.
Gotcha.
Every time we tweaked it, it tweaks it a different way. So this would make us feel even better in that we'd have a positive
A
fund
plus.
balance of $11,000.
Okay. Well, the point is it gets rid of the deficit
It does.
completely in this case. Okay.
All right, so I'm going to close this document. It's gone. I didn't save it.
Good. Have you saved the other one?
I had it previously, yes. I hope.
We've gone this far in another year and you lost the whole thing, so.
Hey now. Before change. So it should be this one. Yep.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Save it.
All right, so where are we at? We have so we have Jeanette. Jeanette, did you make that a motion?
I made the
75-25.
motion that we would divide the 67,747 for the school to find 58,810 and the town to come up with 16,937.
And Ray, you seconded it.
And I second it. So the motion on the floor is that the amount we're asking the departments to deduct for a total of 67,774 are in the amounts of 58,10 for the school and 16,937 for the town.
One more comment on that, Ray, if I may.
Yep.
That shows a total budget going down for the town of 144,720, which is, maybe I'm off a little bit on that, it should be 14, but the school is still up over $200,000.
Yes.
Jeanette's motion was an amended motion.
Yes, it's an amended motion. So the motion on the floor We'll do roll call. I vote yes. Jeanette,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Matthew,
Yes.
Rob.
Yes.
All right, so the motion on the floor, and we'll address this as the entire motion now, so you don't need to rewrite it, Karen, because it's gonna basically be the same thing, but the prospective budget carried forward for the next final public meeting is for a total amount of 2,973,240 for the town budget, 263,870 for CIP. Oh, wait a minute. Now we gotta subtract those numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't take the numbers out.
Jeez Louise. All right, 2,973,240. And that's minus 16,937.
Yes.
To make the math easy, just round it up to 17.
Well, you can give us 17, Chris.
Well, now you're throwing numbers
That's what
around.
that's what I wrote down on my sheet, because I'm not playing with pennies.
You can always give us more, Chris. You can always give us more.
Blood, turnip, stone thing, but yeah.
Cold day and what?
6, 5.
Oh, look, there's a flying pig over here by town hall. Yeah.
So is that 2,956,303? Does that sound right?
Yes.
303, where did I write it down? Right here. All right, for the town budget, education budget's 11,837. You would figure by this time we'd have all these memorized, but and that's 5810. Eight.
11,837.
Stop. No, I can start over. Thank you. 2, 6, 7, 8, 7. So 117,86282.
Yes.
All right.
And of course, well, I can't take out a CIP. That's locked.
Yeah, that's the same. All right, so the finals will be, all right, so we're gonna set this budget going forward for the total town budget of $2,956,303. CIP budget 263,870. Education budget 1,198,628.2. Right? Yep. Mill rate of 26.4. Takes a total of well, let's not get crazy. I was going to give you the total fund balance, but because we just messed with the numbers anyway. So sets mill rate 26.4. Those values, which represents a 0% zero mill increase. We're asking for the town to cut 16937 from their budget,
Yes.
and education to cut 50810 from their budget
Yes.
to arrive at those totals.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Second.
Can you confirm those numbers again? The three?
Okay. One for, we'll go town. Town first is 2,956, 303.
Yep.
CIP is 263870.
Yep.
Education is 11786,282.
Okay. Agreed.
And we got the cuts. All right, so do we have a second? Did we have a second?
Yes.
Jeanette? Or is there any further discussion? No numbers.
A lot of hard work, but I think we're all working together.
All right, so I vote yes. Mike?
Yes.
Jeanette?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
And Rob?
Yes.
All right, motion carries. With that said, that's the last item on our agenda. Our next meeting, same time, same place, next Wednesday, which will be, the purpose of that meeting is to reiterate the numbers that we just voted for, allow for public comment, and based on that, we'll set the mill rate and bill dates, and I do have input from Natalie on bill dates. So,
Ray?
yeah,
I asked for this meeting and it didn't happen, but on the website, the town website, could the town, the CIP and the school budgets be put up there with the adjustments that we have just dictated? So that going into our final meeting, those documents are locked in?
Yeah, I'd request that too. Thank you, Jeanette.
so,
I mean, I'm working
The
off
thing
of
is,
some
both-
old documents that have changed.
yeah, I don't have any problem with that, but those boards have to meet then to approve their budgets to get to those numbers. So does the Board of Ed have a meeting between now and next Wednesday? I mean, the reality is, those are the, unless the public has some serious heartburn with it, those are the numbers. So,
Well, I understand your point, that they're gonna be what is gonna be because we've set them to be that. But I still think we need to have those documents at some point in time put up
yes,
so that they are locked into the data that we have created
absolutely.
this year.
And then I'm gonna clean up the spreadsheet and put it up there as well.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask the town and education department to send me via email or send it to the Gmail. Better yet, send it to the Canterbury Budget at gmail.com address, and I'll put both of those up, same place. So it's one person putting them all up, same place. So they ought not change. All right?
Okay, and Chairman, I just want to say that we are going to have our library is scheduled for our regular meeting this coming Monday.
Great.
So we will, and also I believe I'm going to meet with the first selectman tomorrow about the library opening anyhow. So I think we'll discuss with Chris tomorrow, you know, what he feels we should be doing. And then we do have a meeting on Monday. The library does, so we'll vote.
Anybody
Thank you
good?
for your work, Christine.
Okay, so that's the last item on the agenda. Make motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Yeah,
Okay.
Once again, thanks.
Jason second, all in favor, signify by signing off.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.